In a quiet village, where dust rose gently with every passing footstep, there lived a girl named Amara. At 15, Amara buried her father. He was all she had ever known. Her mother had died when she was just a baby, too young to remember her face, her voice, or even the warmth of her arms. Sometimes, Amara would sit outside at night and stare at the stars, wondering which one belonged to her mother. But when her father died, even the stars felt cold. He had been her world, and now her world was gone. After the funeral, Amara was taken in by her grandmother, a once strong woman whose laughter used to fill the compound. But grief is a strange, cruel thing. Amara's father had been her grandmother's favorite child, the one she had loved the deepest, the one she had believed would take care of her in old age. His death broke something inside her. At first, it was small things, talking to herself, forgetting meals on the fire. Then it grew worse. She would wake up screaming at night, calling her son's name, accusing shadows of stealing him away. Some days, she didn't even recognize Amara. Within months, the grandmother who was meant to protect her needed protection herself, and Amara was left alone. No one wanted the burden. She was passed from one relative to another, like an unwanted package. Staying a few weeks here, a few days there. Each house came with new rules, new cold stares, and the same silent message. You don't belong here. She learned not to unpack her things, because she was never staying long. One evening, trying to escape the heaviness of her life, Amara followed her cousins to a small gathering in the village. There was music, laughter, and cheap alcohol passed around in plastic cups. For the first time in a long while, she felt light. She drank more than she should have. On their way back, they passed a church where a revival was ongoing. The drums were loud, the voices intense, the air charged with emotion. Something pulled her inside. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was the alcohol. Or maybe it was a broken soul searching for something to hold on to. The pastor prayed. Amara felt dizzy. Her head spun, her body swayed, and suddenly all eyes were on her. Speak, the pastor commanded. And she did. But what came out of her mouth wasn't hers. She began confessing things she had never done, claiming she was a marine spirit, saying she had destroyed lives, speaking in ways that didn't even sound like her. The room fell silent. Then fear spread like wildfire. By morning, the whole village knew. Amara was no longer just an orphan. She was dangerous. People avoided her. Mothers pulled their children away when she walked past. Doors that were once slightly open were now shut completely. She became a ghost in a place she once called home. Resolve grew harder. Some nights, she slept on verandas. Other nights, under trees. When the rain came, she curled into herself and waited for it to pass. Eventually, she found shelter with a distant relative. For a moment, it felt like things might change. But peace never stayed long in Amara's life. One afternoon, a scream echoed through the house. Money was missing. Before Amara could even understand what was happening, a small boy, no older than 5, pointed at her. I saw her take it. That was all it took. No one questioned, no one defended her. No one even looked at her twice. She shone out that same day. With nowhere to go, again, survival to go, again. Her survival became her only goal. As night fell each day, fear followed. Not of darkness, sort of having no place to sleep. So she did what she had to do. She called boys. Different ones. Not because she loved them, not because she wanted to, but because she needed a roof over her head, a place to rest. Even if it came at the cost of her dignity, which just turned into months, months into years. Until one day, she met a girl who didn't look at her with judgment. A girl who said, "You can stay with me," and meant it. For the first time in a long time, Amara felt safe. But life wasn't done testing her. One morning, a sharp pain tore through her stomach. It grew worse with every passing hour until she could barely stand. Appendicitis. She needed surgery. Urgently. They called her family. No one came. Not one person. But she lay in the hospital bed, staring at the ceiling. Tears slid silently into her ears. Was she really that alone? Just when hope was slipping away, an elderly man appeared. A distant uncle. Someone she barely knew. He paid the bills, saved her life, and left quietly. Amara survived, but something inside her changed. She realized no one was coming to save her. If she wanted a better life, she would have to chase it herself. That was how she left. Left the village. Left the pain. Left everything she had ever known. Europe was not the dream she imagined. It was cold, harsh, unforgiving. To survive, Amara entered a world she had once feared. Prostitution. Night after night, she gave pieces of herself away. Not because she wanted to, but because she had no other choice. She endured. She paid her debts. And one day, she became free. Few years later met a man. He wasn't perfect, but for a moment, he felt like home. They had 2 children, a boy and a girl. For the first time, Amara experienced something she had never truly known before. Family. But even that came with pain. The man she loved became the man who hurt her. Words turned into blows. Love turned into fear. And once again, Amara found herself trapped. But this time, she was not the same girl. One night, as she watched her children sleep, peaceful, innocent, untouched by the world's cruelty, something inside her rose. This story is real. It is based on real-life events, real pain, real struggles that someone actually lived through. Every emotion in it, every moment of rejection, every tear, every survival decision, it all came from a place that truly existed. She endured. She paid her debts. And one day she became free. Years later, she met a man. He wasn't perfect, but for a moment, he felt like home. They had 2 children, a boy and a girl. For the first time, Amara experienced something she had never truly known before. Family. But even that came with pain. The man she loved became the man who hurt her. Words turned into blows. Love turned into fear. And once again, Amara found herself trapped. But this time, she was not the same girl. One night, as she watched her children sleep, peaceful, innocent, untouched by the world's cruelty, something inside her rose, a strength she didn't know she still had. She made a decision. She would not let her story end in pain. She would not let her children grow up the way she did. She would not disappear. And so, she left. Not in fear, but in courage. It wasn't easy. Nothing in her life ever was. She worked hard, cleaning houses, taking small jobs, learning new skills. Slowly, painfully, she built a new life from nothing. A life where her children laughed freely. A life where no one raised a hand in anger. A life where she was no longer surviving, but living. Years later, Amara stood in her small but beautiful home, watching her children run around the living room. Their laughter filled the space. Warm, alive, real. She smiled, not because life had been kind to her, but because she had been stronger than everything that tried to break her. From a girl who had nowhere to sleep, to a woman who built a home. From a child no one wanted, to a mother her children could not live without. Damara didn't just survive her story. She rewrote it. And this time, it had a happy ending.